Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is John from Buff Since Birth, here to do kind of a special video today. I decided to do something on Ralphie and the history of Ralphie. Everybody else is talking about everything else, so I thought I'd just do a real quick video on this. I think it's kind of fun. Ralphie is our mascot. There have been 6 Ralphies. We're on Ralphie number 6. Ralphie number 1 started in 1966. In 1934, what happened is we didn't actually have a mascot before 1930s, like 34. And so the students got together and decided that they wanted to buy or to have a mascot. And so they did a national contest of what the mascot should be. And it was decided after this was like I guess this was 1934 social media. They must have put ads out. But anyway, they had over 1,000 responses from all over the country. Don't know how they did that, but somehow it ended up going from nation to nation before social media. Pretty cool. Anyway, there was a winner from Colorado that they had a couple others come in a little bit later that they thought won, but there was a gentleman that actually won. And let's see here, I have it right here. Andy Dickinson, the winner. He was a Boulder resident, actually. Like I said, they had over 1,000 entries from every state, and AJ Dickinson from Boulder won. And his submission were the Buffaloes. So before that, it was actually we were called the Bisons, Buffs, Golden Avalanche, Golden Buffaloes, Stamping Herd, and Thunder Herd. So we've had many names after deciding to become the Buffaloes. The one that stuck the most is Golden Buffaloes. You hear them say the Golden Buffaloes quite a bit. You've never heard them say the Thundering Herd, at least in the last few years, I don't think. But yeah, so that's kind of the history of how it happened in 34. Before that, I think the college was founded in 1850s, somewhere, or 70s, 76, as a matter of fact. I know that. Excuse me. It's dry here. So anyway, so that's how we ended up with the Buffaloes. And what happened is they actually they found a buffalo, a baby buffalo, in Fort Collins. It was from the ranch in Fort Collins, and it was they called him Mr. Chips, and they had a few students that had to keep him on the sidelines. They didn't run him. They didn't do anything other than keep him on the sidelines, and somehow they had to keep him calm the whole game. So that's kind of how that went for a very long time until 1966, when there was a student that came along, and his name was excuse me, hit my microphone there. His name was Bill Lowry. He was a freshman class officer. He's from Texas. And in his first game, he saw, a mascot. By that time, they didn't even have live buffaloes around. So he saw a mascot running around, and he came from Texas, where they have a lot of live mascots, like bulls and different things like that. And he said, why in the world do we have, there's these great, big, huge, great animals. Why in the world do we not have a buffalo running around here like we have a longhorn bull in Texas, right? So he calls his dad, who has a ranch down there, and says, hey, Dad, by the way, could we maybe get a buffalo for our mascot up here? So the gentleman bought a buffalo, female buffalo, sent him up to Colorado, and they brought him in, and they had a few freshman friends try to take care of him. Her, excuse me. It's always a girl. That was my bad. But anyway, so they didn't know what to really call this new buffalo. And there's a few stories of where it came from. One of the funniest ones was that you know how when you throw up, it's Ralph. So I don't think that's true. I think that's the one that came about. I guess the buffalo when it ran would make a sound that sounded like Ralph when it would run, and when it huffs out, it sounded like Ralph. So they're like, okay, we're gonna name the buffalo Ralph. And then somebody pointed out later on that, by the way, that's a girl buffalo. Maybe you should call it Ralphie instead of Ralph. So there we go. Welcome, Ralphie, in 1966. And around the end of that season, somebody asked, why don't we have her run around the field, not just have her stand in a pen on the side of the field? Why don't we have her run out before the team? And so they just decided to do that. And the first game that happened was, oh, by the way, we beat Kansas State 10-0 for the first Ralphie game. So that's pretty cool. Now, the second Ralphie game, the first real official Ralphie running game was in 67, September 16th. Colorado beat Baylor 27-7. And I don't know if it was the intimidation of Ralphie running around the field, but that has to be a pretty intimidating thing. They used to let Ralphie run around they would take him to a couple of away games, but they put the kibosh on that in the 80s because I think it was intimidating to a lot of the other, I don't know, who knows, but yeah. So anyway, it's pretty cool little history. Like I said, the reason that they had a girl buffalo is because you can't control a huge buffalo like that. I mean, it's really tough. So anyway, here's history. Ralphie 1 was 1966-67 for the real, if you want to take it officially. 67 running. So she was there until 78, and they just got a little bit older and wasn't doing as well. So they brought in Ralphie 2 in 78. Now, see, I've actually seen every Ralphie run. I was there in 75, saw Ralphie run. I grew up in the 80s, so went to a lot of games in the 80s, as I said in my prior videos. So I was more familiar with Ralphie 2. So that was 78 to 87 when I graduated from high school. I'm aging myself. I'm an old man. But I graduated from Fairview High School in Boulder in 87. That was the last year that Ralphie run. Ralphie 3 took over in 87. I saw her run in 88, right before I went in the Navy. In October of 88, I went to a couple games and saw Ralphie 3 run. Ralphie 4, she ran 87 to 97. Ralphie 4 was 98 to 2008. I lived in Colorado during that time, and so went back. I moved to Arizona about that time. I did see a game in 98. Saw Ralphie 4 run. I was there in the early 2000s, saw her run again once. And then now we have Ralphie 4. She went until 2008. Ralphie 5 was 2008 to 2019. Saw that buffalo run quite a bit. She was there during the 2016 season. That was so awesome. The Rise. If you haven't heard about that, go look it up. It was a really great season for the Buffaloes. Went to the South... we won the South Pac-12 championship and then played, I believe, Washington, who absolutely railed us that year. But whatever, we did better than we had in years, so it was fine. Anyway, and then what happened with Ralphie 4 is, Ralphie 5. She just started getting rambunctious. They couldn't handle her. She just, I mean, that's a lot of animal. If she really wanted to just blow all those guys off, easily could do it and run away. I mean, that animal's 1,200 pounds, so could easily say, hey guys, all these guys back here, all these guys back here, at least one or two fall off anyway when they're running around the field. Watch some video on it. It's really fun. It's really cool. So anyway, that's kind of what happened. She got rambunctious, so we ended up with Ralphie 6 in 2019. See, she's our current buffalo. She's a baby still a little bit. She's only a few years, like she's a toddler now, I guess. But she ran her first game as a baby. She was this cute little buffalo, ran around the field. It was so fun. It's a really just a neat program. I'm going to end it there. I think it's just a really cool deal. Ralphie, you know, she's under the. Let me go over a couple like just little things before I end up leaving. But they're under the. It used to be those. They figured out pretty quickly that the freshmen. They just didn't really know what to do, and they needed to figure out some handlers. So they used to have her at a ranch. I think it was called Green Valley Ranch or something like that. We used to go see her when I was a kid as a field trip. It was really quite fun to do. But the students that are running the program, their program manager, Coach Taylor Stratton, assistant program manager, Coach Colton Bear. I think they're both still there. They were handlers at the university when they were there. You can be a handler with the coaches as a student. You are considered now, I think since 1970, they're considered now, no, it was the 80s they did that, 87. Should know that. Handlers first started earning varsity letters in 87, so they can letter now as a student athlete as long as they're a full-time student and made all the requirements. They can, so you have student handlers that do it and they run. They take Ralphie to the games before. She hangs out in the pen before the game. They put her in a trailer and bring her out into a pen and walk her across the field, and then she runs before the first half and the end of the game. So really fun. That was more for new people, but if you are an older Buffalo fan to know some of those tidbits, I hope you enjoyed it. Again, my name is John with Buff Since Birth, just starting out trying to do some different things than everybody else is doing. Hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to do a video here on the week in the very spicy conference thing we had today. So, by the way, I'm wearing red. I usually don't wear red because of the Nebraska Cornhuskers, but every Friday is Remember Everyone Deployed. Every Friday I wear this shirt because we do still have, I'm a veteran, I'm a Navy veteran. We still have veterans all around the world doing crazy stuff. So please just keep them in their hearts and your thoughts. Every Friday I wear red, and then yeah. So that's what that's why I'm wearing red today. Got plenty of CU swag here. Got my CU hat here on my guitar. Maybe I should have worn that. Got my CU hat. But I love my Buffaloes way before anything else. I love my country before anything else, but I love my Buffaloes. And so that's why I'm wearing this. So remember veterans. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. This is John. And I have Buff Since Birth. Cool. Subscribe, like if you'd like. Anyway, thanks guys. Talk to you later. Bye now.